Oh yeah, still gotta pop out chat. We are technically live, just so you know. There we go. Smacking. Was it picking up the fidelity of his lips smacking?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty good.
It's like certain days I can't hear shit, and other days
You hear nothing but the AC.
yeah, and I can hear like every little. I mean, I hear my own voice just fine.
Weird. Yeah, because some days it's like you can barely even hear you, but then other days I've heard you just fine. I guess it's just our mic placement. But anyway, I think we're started. It looks like is it quiet? No, it looks quiet.
Oh, that's
Looks very quiet, actually.
all right. How's that?
Is that better? Well, no, maybe a little more. Give it like a little more juice. Oh, Ziggy's sneezing. You alright, buddy? It's okay. Alright, is that, yeah, it looks a little better. We're at least into the yellow on whatchamacallit. Alright, can everybody hear us okay?
I think I can hear just fine.
Okay, cool. Alright, hey everyone, my name's Dylan. This is James. We're here at Flipside Music. Today is what the second episode without Ike. He'll be coming back, in August. So today we got James filling in on playing duty. I think today we're basically just doing the one pedal, but we'll try to go through as many of the presets on it as we can, or at least to try to demo it the best we can. Okay, yeah, they're saying it's better. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, if anything changes, obviously let us know in terms of the volume. It should be good. We're just trying to balance things out, and Ziggy keeps sneezing. It's a day. Yeah, anything going on this week in terms of... Well, we don't really have new releases. You guys already have the pedal cam on, so the one we will be doing today, once we get to it, is is just called the Verbs from Poly. If you guys are familiar, Poly Effects, they basically make... I think the first one was the Bebo, right? That was like their first big one. I think the Bebo, yeah, and that one's basically it's kind of in the just modular effects period kind of vein. So if you're into that sort of thing, we'll definitely get to that one at some point. It's just a little more complicated than this guy. So we're gonna at least start with this one since we just got it back in. Before we get to that though, I guess we'll do. Well, I think people will remember you. I don't know if Janice is in there. I know she follows Float, but I'm sure you guys, at least any of the regular watchers, have seen James at least once before. Because you've been on...
Been on a few times.
Yeah, you've been on at least two or three times now.
Yeah. Yeah, I work at Flipside. I'm one of the guys here that sells the things. I play in a local funk rock band called Float Like a Buffalo. And I'm also in a side cover band called the C Minuses. So everything from the 70s up to the 2010s, sort of, as far as covers go. Yeah, I play guitar.
Yes. Are you working on flute?
Flute? No, no flute.
Not yet. All right. Jacob, what was your discussion topic? Was like basically have we reached the end of like innovation in terms of guitars and effects, or just the whole industry?
Maybe the whole industry. I mean, I don't know like what's going on in the drum world. That's
Oh, that is a good point. Yeah,
like,
yeah, that's a good point.
definitely like guitars and
Yeah.
effects.
So yeah, like are we, or yeah, I guess the discussion would be, are we getting towards the end of like, well, because I think we've sort of had the discussion before of like, are there ever going to be any new, like genuinely new effects? And I don't even mean,
Oh, yeah.
I don't even mean just like original circuits at this point. I mean like even just, will there ever even be another like new effect? That part doesn't seem like, it doesn't, I mean it seems like it would be happening at this point if it was going to happen. That's the hard part, because I'm like,
I mean,
I'm trying to even think of another, what is another?
The topic of the day was, is there a pedal that can make, instead of like the...
He's like, just hear me out.
Just hear me
Yeah.
out. I was talking about the pitchfork, which I really love, but, you know, you can do your octaves up or down, detunings or upper tunings. But is there a pedal, or will there be a pedal that's made to where you can do open tunings, like open G or open E, without actually having to tune the guitar? Dylan's argument was MIDI pickups.
Yeah, so you'd have to have a pickup for each string, and then I think you could do it, because then you could essentially assign the pitch that you want each string to be adjusted.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I guess you do make a fair point about tuners.
Yeah, like, I mean, they've come a long way, and like, I mean, I know some people hate the polytune, some people love it. I've used it for years, and I do like the concept, and I like being able to check all the strings. It's probably on like E flat or something right now.
Yeah.
But I was just saying, I do like being able to check that. I don't really use it that much anymore now that I've had the LVX.
Right.
But to me, it's one of those things of like, if they were gonna figure it out by now, I think they would have, and I just think it's too much to ask for something to track that many things without having an individual reference point for where each string is starting. Because like you could probably, like with a polyphonic effect, it's going to be different than if you're just trying to do it with one
Right.
note, which would be mono. So
All right, well, I guess we challenge Polly and Maris to try to come up with that. Because I feel like if anybody could do it, Maris could do it.
yeah, again, I guess what I'm trying to figure out is like when you hear a guitar chord, most of the time, depending on how somebody's strummed it, you don't hear every string. You kind of hear the sound of all of the strings together.
Right.
So that's where I'm like, once you get into that spot of like asking a pedal to be like, okay, here's all this stuff. Pick out all of these 6 things and then correct each one by just a little bit. It's like that part seems hard unless, again, like I said, unless you had a pickup for each one, because at least then you would have that initial pitch off
Yeah.
of each string.
I could see it. It might look a little wonky, but I mean, we have the technology, I think.
Well, yeah, because I was gonna say Roland and Boss, I think, made one that, or they made I mean, there's a lot of MIDI pickups I think out there at this
Yeah.
point, but they made one in particular that just mounts right underneath like the saddle, so it almost looks just
Yeah.
like the saddle bridge points on
Yeah.
that. So it would just basically be your saddles would be the pickups.
Yeah, because I have seen the one Roland did where it's a cord that connects, and then you like mount it alongside with the jack.
Yeah, because you have like basically like the normal guitar sound, and then you also have like the MIDI input or MIDI output
Yeah.
going.
Which I mean, they did that for like their synth stuff, but
Yes.
I don't know.
Well, and that would be the prime candidate for that. You would just, I guess you would have to if you had the pickup, you could then use it, yeah, if they made like other pedals that did just that thing. Because it would be kind of nice, like even if Boss did it, where they just take one pedal that would work with that specific pickup, or even a pickup system that was maybe a little, I don't want to say more affordable, but maybe a slight redesign, but try to pair it with that so that it's only really trying to accomplish the one thing. Because most of
Yeah.
like the Digitech drop, the Pitchfork, once you go like half a pitch out, it starts getting a little wonky. It's like it's not bad, but it's not awesome either.
Yeah, and I think that's why I like the Pitchfork Plus better, because you can do like C standard tuning and you don't really hear that digital effect.
I guess, do we still have that one with him?
No, not
Okay.
at the moment.
When we get the pitch back in, I'll have to try it, because I've tried it with I used to just use the expression control on the regular Pitchfork, and then I would literally just move it to whatever tuning I needed. So I
Yeah.
would put it in the octave setting, and I would literally just lower it until I got to the note that I
Yeah.
wanted. So I might try that with the pitch or the Plus and see if it works.
I'm just trying to be lazy. I don't want to tune guitars, bring extra guitars to gigs.
Well, I mean, that would be it wouldn't necessarily be completely innovative, but it would be if somebody could actually do it better. You are
Yeah.
actually at least onto something in that regard of like, if somebody could execute that premise or that idea better than what it is currently, I think, yeah, you could be onto something. Whether or not something's new though, that's because like to me, like I have a hard time even conceptualizing, like how do you dream up a sound you've never heard before?
I don't know.
Because like with the LVX, like now granted, it doesn't always have to be Maris all the time. as much as we love them, but for me, the LVX is as close as I've personally gotten to building my own thing where I've like, I can sort of hear a sound I want and I can find it on that. Short of that though, and I guess like maybe applying like the modular thing to other effect types. Outside of that, I have a hard time of like, because to me, I guess like setting up multiple effects results in an amalgam of an effect. Can you actually call that a new effect, or is it just like, you know, like Frankenstein? Is it just something
Yeah.
you stitch together and it happens to, you know, resemble something?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It could also go like, rather than making a new sound, they find new ways to like, I don't know. This is getting really futuristic, but like, you play a pedal and it makes visuals or something.
Well, yeah, so yeah, it's funny because I was just saying, Jacob and I had sort of been even talking about like, you know, syncing up, you know, lights, like lighting systems to your
Yeah.
pedal board. So there's that, but I see what you're kind of saying. Like,
Like-
it would be kind of cool if you could almost make like envelope triggered visuals off of a pedal board.
Yeah, or like a pedal has, like, for example, you have your pedal, but there's a little camera thing that actually shoots lasers onto a wall, and as you continue to play your song, it draws a weird picture or something.
That would actually be pretty amazing.
You can be an artist with your guitar, not just for music, but for art.
A pedal projector.
Pedal projector, patent pending.
Actually, even honestly, even just having something on your pedal board that would, even if it was literally just lights, so you had, you know, if you had a smoke machine present, like that could actually be kind of
That
cool.
would be pretty sweet.
There was a guy a couple years ago who had a pedal board light that reacted to your playing and it fit on your.
Yeah,
Oh,
like
that's
that could be
pretty neat.
kind of cool, or even yeah, some kind of lighting system for it. Like that could be pretty cool.
Laser beams.
But yeah, to me, or even yeah, like I can't remember what company was developing it, but it was like that. Like rather than having a physical keyboard, it was just the projection of the keyboard and where you put your fingers would
Oh,
like
yeah.
that would be the keys. Something to that effect, like down the line. Obviously, this is way future off stuff, but that would be
Yeah.
pretty cool. Again, though, in terms of new effects, or even like Jacob was asking, like, are there any actual innovations? Because who did you bring up with the 5-string guitar?
Jacob Collier.
Jacob Collier with the 5-string signature guitar, like guitar not bass. So like, which is funny because it's like if anybody was gonna do that by now, you'd think it would have been Keith Richards
Yeah.
to it.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know. I guess if you guys have any thoughts on this particular discussion, because to me it does feel like we are getting to a point where most companies are having. It's not that they're having a hard time coming up with things. They are having a genuinely hard time coming up with anything truly new, like significantly new. I think that would be the.
Like it's like the headstock thing. Like everyone's like, oh, we can't do the Fender thing.
Yeah, yeah, the heads, yeah. So
Try something new, and like with G&L, they're not my favorite, but it's got that weird like hook on it.
yeah,
Can always get some sandpaper.
well, yeah, it is kind of one of those things. Yeah, well, and kind of like we were saying earlier too. It's not like anybody's gonna come up with like a new phaser and say that they invented the phaser, or like a new carbon copy and they're gonna say they invented the delay. But I still think it would be pretty interesting. I guess again, you know, how do you package up a sound that you've literally never heard before? And again, nobody's really doing it at the moment. So what would it even be? Because like that would even be a discussion I wouldn't mind having with like some of the guys that are actually designing and building pedals. Because it's like I would be interested in their minds, like what would constitute a new sound, like instead of, like I said, kind of an amalgam of other things.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point, I mean, and this would kind of result back into like the polyverbs, but
Yeah.
kind of, you know, going out into the world with a
Capturing like real world sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like I think that would probably be like the next thing, which they already kind of done.
Well, I was gonna say that is actually a very good segue into the polyverbs, because like if you guys aren't familiar with this pedal, essentially the idea with it is that they've literally captured, you know, impulse responses from different spaces taken those IRs and then used that to essentially make reverbs of actual physical real world spaces. And to me, like, I think that is, like, when this came in, that would probably be the first time outside of like what Maris has been putting out. I would say it's been the first time in a while though that I've been really surprised by a pedal in terms of what, because like being able to capture physical real world spaces. I mean, they have like different churches, different auditoriums. Like, I don't know if we ended up figuring out where that pool of the, it was like a hall, but Manitoba, yeah. So they have different spaces. Like they're the founder of the company, Loki, he was actually talking to us about at some point trying to capture Red Rocks, so we could try to at least see if we could get the reverb from Red Rocks.
Yeah.
I know he went to, I forgot the name of that. It's like this cylinder, but it produces like that 48-second reverb.
It's an oil.
Yeah.
Oil tank. Yeah.
Was it an oil tank or like a pipeline? I don't remember.
I think it was an oil. It was
Okay.
oil tanks in like Germany or something like that.
Yeah, but yeah, it produces like a 48-second reverb, or in terms of the length of the repeat. So like the fact that there's anybody that's made anything that can capture like real world spaces, I think that's pretty cool.
It's impressive.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say we actually have had a few more people pop in. We should say some hellos and then we can get into the playing real quick. So obviously we got Jacob, who's over there, Carla, so hi Mom. We got Sean watching, we got Eric in there. Who else we got? Oh, there's Janice, she did pop in. Hey Janice. We got Dan, we got Hobo Roadie. Oh, so he was actually kind of talking about, it was probably when we were discussing the like the MIDI pickup split kind of thing. He said he was talking about like the stereo split on like the Vox 12 string, where 3 strings would go to each amp, which is actually kind of cool because I think, was it Billy Gibbons that was doing that that side project where like him and the other guy were playing 2 baritone guitars with those pickups in it. So that, yeah, I think that was how they ended up. So some of the strings went to like one side of the rig, some of them went to the other. And I think it was so they didn't have to have a bass player, if I remember right.
Yep. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think things like that are happening. Again, though, to me, those are more like,
That's experimental.
yeah, variations on something that already sort of exists. To me, I mean, I guess I am interested to see, because like right now it seems like the biggest focus, at least from some companies, is integrating like the synth world with the pedal world.
Yeah.
So I feel like those two worlds are starting to just kind of overlap even more. So outside of like exploring all the things that a synth can do, but on a guitar, I mean that seems like where a lot of the more recent effects are kind of coming from. But
Yeah. Well, they did come out with that cat pedal. But that's not practical.
well, yeah, I mean, I guess you're right. I mean, because I'm like, yeah, that's yeah. Well, and it's like, what was the Miku or whatever that everybody,
Yeah.
however many years ago. Yeah, I mean, there's oddball things like that, but it hasn't really been anything overly. It hasn't been a thing where like everybody's like, okay, that's an effect I would want to play, because like, phase, flange, chorus, octaves, reverbs, delays. Everybody gets into that stuff at some point for the most part.
Yeah.
Whereas, like I said, a whole new effect type, that's what I'm kind of waiting
Right.
for.
Like the ketchup bottle fart thing,
Oh, the fart pedal?
No, I was thinking of something new.
Oh,
Ketchup farts.
ketchup farts.
So
Well,
it's like the fart pedal. See, I can't even innovate there.
no.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he already laid the groundwork for that.
Well, there you have it.
Yeah.
Ketchup farts.
Yeah, Jacob's like, all I've got is ketchup farts. Like, I don't know. Oh, Hobo Roadie said he had an idea to run through abandoned sewer pipes in large buildings somewhere, like in the Rust Belt. Oh, with large speakers and various mics play. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like that's, again, capturing real world echoes and reverbs are, I think, like I said, that's basically what Paulie has been able to do with the Verbs. I do think like that, again, is probably one of the more interesting uses of like pedal effects in recent years, because I really can't, like I said, other than and essentially that's what his Bebo pedal does is like it gets into the modular side of things, and again, that's kind of expanding on what synth players have been doing for like 50 some years at this point now. But yeah. So anyway, I guess we'll start with the verbs. I think everything else is off. Let me make sure. I don't want to cloud up the works. We'll probably pepper this with other things. But right now, I think we're just going to start with... Cool, and I think each one, if I remember right...
The amp's still on standby.
It is. I just was checking this before we get into the... Yeah. Cool. All right, so I think each one, and I think it's more like mix levels and stuff, each one of these has like, I believe 8 presets within each of the main, like the main spots.
I also didn't check the volume, so just in case.
Yeah. All right, so we are on basically the very first reverb, and we're on setting 1 of the very first reverb. So, you want it louder or not? Okay. Let us know if you guys want it, more volume or not.
It's your Volante on?
Oh, yeah, good point. Thank you. Oh, I forgot you can switch between the... Oh, okay, you can quick switch with A, and with A you actually scroll through the preset types. So that's pretty cool. Alright, so back to setting 1. Let's do a little bit more mix. Oh, and for anybody curious, like when I'm just touching the pedal, this pedal doesn't actually have any knobs on it. It's literally all touch-based. So hopefully you guys can kind of see where those lights are, but like there's like the, you can kind of see that like as I go up or down. So let's turn that off a little bit. So this is the Pool of the Black Star from Manitoba. That's what you said, right? Nicaragua, Manitoba, Jamaica. All right. Dan was asking what guitar James is playing. It is the Heritage. I always forget their version of the Les Paul, but it's the H150. Yeah, from Heritage. And then we'll see if we have time. I'll get my Explorer out for some lower tuning stuff, but see, even right away to me, like that's a great like room hall reverb. Like right off the bat, all I really did was just increase the mix a little bit. But I mean, it's right off the bat, it's pretty great. Let's try preset 2 within that one. Oh, that's basically just a higher mix like I just had. Number 3. That one has a little more like not slap back, but it almost like, when you hear a reverb kind of clap off of a wall, it kind of has that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's interesting too, it has a low cut like you would, so if if anything ever got too boomy, you could just increase so it kind of just keeps the high end. Although, you know what I'm kind of curious about? Do you remember what the smoosh control does? I don't remember what the smoosh control does. Let's smoosh it. Oh, is it compressing it?
Oh, maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, I don't hear your attack as much. Yeah, so smoosh is a little bit of compression, so that's actually pretty cool. The last one we had of this, I should specify, the last one we had, James and I only got to play for like 5 minutes, so this is the first time we've really gotten to give this one a good go. Alright, let's try setting number 4. So same thing, Pool of Black Hole, just a little bit more mix. Actually, I don't think that one's vastly different than... let's see what the onset control does real quick. Oh, it's almost like how long it takes for it to...
It's like it's almost like a mix with like delay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like how long it takes before it...
Onset is pre-delay.
Pre-delay. And then smoosh feels like compression, but I guess you can let me know if it's not.
Spreads and expands the sound particles to fill the void.
So almost like dimension.
Sure.
We're gonna call smoosh dimension. Compressed dimension. Yeah. Let's try number 5. And I can't remember. Do they have? I can't remember. Is it like an editor for the poly or for the verbs? I can't remember because I know there's like a way to like if you capture your own, you know, your own IRs, you're supposed to be able to actually make reverbs based on some of those. So that is great though. Like I remember that's the whole thing. Like every time I hear this thing, I'm like, that is such a good reverb. I guess just to see how it acts with distortion. Let me go ahead and go back to. Actually, we'll go back to that setting. That was a good one. Let's do the Bogner Ecstasy real quick. That sounds good. Probably should have grabbed the manual because I think the analog devices one actually has like different, it's modeled after actual physical reverbs, you know, and like each one's modeled after a different one once you get further into it. Because like this one's definitely just a mix of the same thing, but right now we're still on the pool, but once we get into analog devices, I think I'll need to know like which ones they are. Honestly, it sounds great though. It takes that really well. Let's add just a little bit of delay just to see how it'll sound with that. Yeah. Sounds really good. See, setting 6 real quick. I think it's gonna be. Oh wow, that one really lingers. It's interesting too. It's almost a little distorted. That's still that first repeat, right?
Yep.
Wow.
Volume's off.
That is a long repeat. Yeah.
I think that might be the.
Is it? Oh, the long like
This is the oil tanks, yeah.
Yeah.
This is the oil tank. Oh, okay.
So that's pretty long.
That is pretty long. Yeah, well, it's long, but it's like it's very usable. You know, it's not like it's just descending into, you know, just into this raspiness. You know, like. That bit of distortion, though, as it kind of fades out, is interesting. Track number 7. It almost sounds like a small theater. You know what I mean? Like a real.
Hamilton Mausoleum.
Hamilton Mausoleum. Interesting. Okay.
That's
Yes. That's really cool, though. Hopefully you guys can hear like the end of that. That is great. That is pretty cool. What's number 8?
Koenig Otto.
Koenig Otto. Autobahn? I'm just kidding, I don't know.
German expressionism style brewing hall, complete with all the fascinating brewery
Oh, it's a brew hall. Okay, very cool.
from its completion in 1930.
Well, what's cool about this thing, at least to me, is like, especially if you had certain, you know, like if you had amp modelers going into this, you could kind of simulate recording in spaces that you would just never have access to, which is pretty cool. All right, let's go. I guess we'll go to the second one, or second bank. So we're on the second bank, first setting.
It's a cave.
Is it the actual like the
Yeah, that capper.
Capricornia? So everybody who's a Capricorn is like born in that cave. I'm just kidding. That is really cool though, because it's like it sounds deep, but it also like the slap back is kind of quick.
It's interesting.
Like it sounds deep, but it's like a very quick kind of attack.
Deep but tight.
Deep but tight. All right, what's setting number 2 on this one?
2 and 3 are Innocent Railway Tunnel, Edinburgh, Scotland.
Okay, cool. So this one's a railroad tunnel in Scotland for settings 2 and 3. See, honestly, the thing about most of these is like all of them are like instantly usable. Like no matter how extreme or not extreme they are, it's like they're instantly usable. Real quick, out of my own personal curiosity, does it have stereo inputs and outputs? Because I know it just has the one, but
So yeah, if you
It does have stereo.
if you use a TRS cable, you can use
Yeah.
a stereo.
because I was gonna say this thing in stereo would just be incredible. All right, let's go deeper into this railway in Scotland. Gonna increase the mix just a little. Actually, I want to see how this one responds with some drive too. Honestly, that'd be a good like always on almost. I wonder how it responds to like modulation. Let's see. Pretty solid. What's number 4, Jacob?
It's the Poly HQ before they moved in. It was their warehouse.
Oh, it's their warehouse. That's cool. So setting number 4 is the warehouse that they used to be in. Oh, that they're currently in. Sorry. Before they moved. Okay. So before they got all the stuff in there. Sounds like it's a pretty big
Yeah.
factory. Yeah. Or a big warehouse anyway. Man, that is cool though. Hopefully you guys are kind of getting it in the video. It's hard to describe, but like at least here we don't even have it that loud. But to me, like how quickly this changes how you feel in terms of the space that you're in is pretty. It is pretty incredible.
Janice wants one.
Yeah. Man, that was good. All right, number 5.
Belgium.
Okay. One thing you might look through on some of those, because I think we had a. Whoa. Wow.
That's pretty neat.
Yeah, let me turn the mix up on that one. It's interesting, it's very ambient, but it's not like it's clashing with anything else you're kind of putting into it. But yeah, we had one question. I think it was Master of Reality was asking if there was like a really good drippy spring reverb. So you might see if there is a setting in there in particular, because kind of like I said earlier, this is actually the first time James and I have gotten to really play it for very long. The last one we had was like in and out.
Yeah, and that decays.
Yeah, well, it was really nice, and it was a very natural.
It kind of reminded me of, like, you know how in a less dangerous environment, but like when Charlie and his deadbeat grandpa fly up in the chocolate factory and they drink the lifting bubbles.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Yeah. Honestly, like, that's a great album name right there. Just Charlie and his deadbeat grandpa. Charlie and the deadbeat grandpa.
So the analog devices, there's like 3 or 4
Springs.
in
Okay. Well.
I almost said reverbs.
Yeah. So we're gonna go over to the analog devices real quick so we can kind of hit his question. All right. Once we're over there, which number should we start with?
So 1 and 2 are a Fender reverb tank.
Okay.
62.
That sounds like a.
Kind of nailed it.
I was gonna say that kind of nails it perfectly. Wow.
Yeah.
That drip. Yeah. That's. Wow. That is actually really good.
I believe that's that drip they talk about.
Yeah. So there you go, Master. Yeah, very first setting, just increase the mix a little bit, and there you go. This thing is pretty exceptional, honestly.
So 3 and 4 are an AKG spring reverb.
Okay, so let's try setting number 3. AKG spring reverb? Okay. Sounds a little smaller, maybe not quite as, like, ambient as the Fender one. That's still very nice and usable, though. If you increase the onset a little bit, let's see if that gives it a little more drip. Yeah? It did give it a little more drip.
6 is also a spring reverb.
Did you say 5 and 6 or 4 and 6?
6.
Well, okay.
5 is an oil can delay.
Oh, cool. We'll get to that one in a second, too, then. Yeah, so like if you give it just a little bit more on the onset, it kind of hits that drippy. But honestly, that first one, holy shit. Yeah. 7 is also a spring. Nice. That is good. That is good.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
That's pretty convincing.
Yeah, it doesn't really clash with distortion.
No.
So now Janice is asking about plate reverb, so we'll go over to the echo plates. I imagine the very first one is going to be a nice plate reverb.
EMT 140.
EMT 140 plate reverb. 1 and 2, okay. Yeah. That, wow. Master of Reality says it's harder to find a good drip, more than you would think, and it's like, yes, it is actually really hard to find like a good spring reverb pedal. Like one that does solid justice to the actual like spring reverb tanks we're all used to.
Yeah.
But
Well, and I would say the True Spring by Source is
yeah, that one is actually,
that's
yeah.
pretty solid. I'd also say the Topanga comes in like maybe third.
Yeah. I was like, honestly, this, because I am pretty surprised at how, because it's like, the Fender one in particular immediately elicits, like, it sounds just like a Fender reverb tank, so I mean. This one's interesting, it's a little more muted. Like, do you feel like the high end is pretty muted compared to, like, almost like it rolls off the high end just a little? Yeah. Let's try number 2 just to see. Yeah, that's more what I would expect from a plate reverb. Which means it should take fuzz pretty good. 5? Alright. We might, wow, okay. I almost want to keep going. Yeah, takes fuzz like a champ. Alright, Jacob, I guess choose the one that sounds most interesting to you, and we'll end with that one.
How about the Civil War bunker?
Alright, and that's on
It's on Capricornia Caves number 8.
number 8. Okay. What did you say it was?
Civil War bunker.
Civil War bunker. Alright.
And apparently the Spanish Civil War.
Oh, the Spanish Civil War, not our
It's in Spain.
not our homegrown Civil War. Okay. It's not huge, but it sounds pretty nice.
Okay, the really interesting ones are all in the irregular.
Irregular? Okay. Whoa.
What number is that?
1.
That's bubbles.
Oh, bubbles, yeah. So this one's the reverb through bubbles, so you actually hear it kind of like spill over and then. Yeah. That is interesting.
Number 4 is Apollo 8 mission radio chatter.
Apollo 8 mission radio chatter. That honestly sounds better for a synth. Because, like, you could put some, yeah. Yeah. I feel like the high end could run away. All right, let's go to number 5. What's that one?
It's called symbol pattern.
Oh, I wonder if it's the, yeah, as a symbol decays.
Number 2 is rain.
Oh, yeah, you can kind of hear it. It kind of, that one's a little harder to hear, let me tell you. Now I wonder, I'm gonna go into the Basilica real quick. Let's just do that one because I was curious about. Yeah, there we go.
How about 4 on that one?
On the Basilica.
Yeah.
Ooh,
That's a hall. It's like the Knight's Hall.
the Knight's Hall. That's actually really good.
That's the tone.
It's actually pretty good. Yeah. Yeah.
SpongeBob Paints.
It's 5. All right. I guess we'll wrap it up then.
Maybe this has to be a two-parter.
Yeah, this might have to be a 2-parter to revisit this one because I was gonna say honestly, I was blown away when it came in the first time. I feel like I'm even more blown away hearing it again. And those are just presets. Like that's not even all
Yeah,
of what
we
it
haven't
can
even
do.
really messed with the sliders that much.
No. No, the only thing I did while we were kind of playing was just increasing the mix a little bit so people could hear that part. But
Let people know about Thursday Guitar Extravaganza.
oh yes. So yeah, Jake was just reminding me to do the usual plug. So we basically do this stream as part of Guitar Prime Time. So we do this stream, and then it's followed by the guys at Texas Toast, Matt and Chris, and then Dylan Talks Tone kind of finishes it up around what 6? Yeah, I guess so. That rounds out the 3 hours. I'm not sure what they have going on this week. I know they've had some classes, and like some of the regulars were actually over there for a few of the classes. Like I know, I think Devin was there for something recently. But anyway, I think that's pretty much it. We have any other announcements for the shop? James is trying to sell a drum case. So if you need a really awesome drum case for 20% off, that's brand new.
Yeah,
Let us
never been
know.
used.
Yeah, let us know.
It's an 18 or a 20 by 18 kick drum.
Is the idea that you would put the kick drum in there and then you put the other shells in there too, or just
No, like
oh,
it's
just
good
for
if-
one drum?
It's for one drum.
Wow. Okay, so if you just need one really substantial drum cased,
Yes.
that's pretty much it. But yeah, I was gonna say if you guys need anything, let us know. I don't know if I actually updated the stock on these. We literally just got these right before we started the stream, so I will go update the stock on those. And like I said, I think we're doing at least one more episode during Ike's vacation, maybe 2. But next week we're gonna try to get Eric in here, and we're gonna try to mess around with the LVX for a little bit. I think that's pretty much it. So anybody, if you got any questions, obviously, if anybody needs to get a hold of us, let us know. Thank you for watching, and I think that's pretty much it.
Alrighty.
Catch you guys on the flip side. Wake up, mouse.